It is my pleasure to tell the story of the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation. I do that through television. We're on the TV set right now. We have a podcast. We have social media, all the channels. We do public events, printed newsletters, digital newsletters, publications, and so much more. It is my pleasure that I get to share the work that we do with our communities.
Hi, everyone. Michelle here. What an awesome 2025 it's been. If I were to pick out three highlights for the year, the first one would be our swift and compassionate response to the food crisis in our community. We were able to distribute, with the help of the Emily Jones Fund, over $250,000 in early fall to help food pantries and feeding programs. And then within the month, we were then distributing $100,000 when the SNAP crisis hit. So feeding the people who were hungry in our community is top of my list, and us being able to respond to that was very meaningful. The second thing would be our individually managed fund program that was approved in December of 2024, where a donor could work with their advisor and still have a philanthropic fund with us. So it gives our donors more flexibility and assists them in making an even greater impact. We were able to launch that program with a $10 million fund. And then the third thing would be the capital campaign feasibility study that we did with the Carter Group to grow our endowment so that we can meet more community needs in the many years to come. So I'm really excited about many things, but especially those three. It's been an awesome 2025. I look forward to even greater things in 2026. Thank you so much for your support and partnership.
Hi, the finance team is here to give you a few highlights of 2025. I'm Kristen Mounts, CFO of the Foundation. One of the items I wanted to highlight of 2025 is our new online giving hub. This new online portal allows our donors ease in terms of giving online donations. It also lets our fund holders promote their funds through QR codes and direct links that weren't previously available.
Hi, I'm Angela Dobson, accountant with the Foundation. I am pleased to report that we have 234 donors whose generosity has contributed $9,480,000 to our mission. Among them, 4 donors providing ongoing monthly recurring donations. In addition, we have successfully opened 18 new funds, expanding our capacity to impact the communities we serve.
Hi, I'm Christine Spalding, the controller here at the Foundation. In 2025, we invested $15,100,786 back into our community through grants and scholarships. That includes $13,341,567 in grants and $1,759,219 in scholarships, supporting students across our region.
Hello, my name is Almeda Tincher, and I am an accountant here at TGKVF. In 2025, we had total grants of 1,789. The makeup of that is 1,071 of those were grants and 718 was scholarships, and all those were processed to serve the community.
So in total, with all this activity and through the generosity of our donors, we expect our assets to exceed $375 million for 2025. It's been a great year.
Hello. You might have heard that TGKVF had another record-breaking year in the scholarship department. We had applications from all 55 counties awarded to 53 at over $1.7 million to 590 students statewide. This was made possible by our generous donors as well as our new software that allowed students to match with more scholarship opportunities than ever, a 73% increase and 1,500 applicants to be exact. Our approach was so student-centered, it became the subject matter for TGKVF's first scholarship conference presentations and took our team to not one, but 2 national conferences, one in Wichita, Kansas, and the second in Atlanta, Georgia. We are celebrating strides from 2025 and looking forward to 2026 success. Thanks.
Hi, it's Leslie. This year, our conference rooms have been very busy with over 20 of our community partners using them, and we already have some scheduled for next year. And I look forward to greeting and meeting everyone who comes through our doors next year.
Hello! What a surprise! I was just catching up on some of my reading. Did you know that the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation puts out publications each year about the program department's community-based work? Let me tell you about some of it. I was just reading about the Building Bridges Leadership Institute in the Reflections and Impact Report. For this report, we worked with a third-party evaluator, Red Spruce Collective, to measure the impact of this leadership and capacity program over the last 5 years. Thanks to our own Jane Powell and her team at Augie Gray Drake Design for the report's sleek layout. Did you know that the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation was featured in Grant Makers for Effective Organizations' National Field Study on Philanthropic Best Practices? Can you believe our work in the Kanawha Valley was lifted up as a model to replicate for foundations across the country? Wow, very impressive. We were also featured in 2 regional publications. This one is the Appalachia Funders Network's Narrative Change Pilot Project Learning and Evaluation Report. This was for our Narrative Change Collaborative initiative that we've been running for the past 2 years in partnership with the Appalachia Funders Network. The Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation is featured on page 14, so check us out. We were also featured in the State of News Business in Central Appalachia in partnership with Press Forward Central Appalachia, which is part of a national movement to support local news and storytelling. Again, Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation is featured on page 15, so be sure to read all about it. Last, we put out our own publication called Narrative Change in the Kanawha Valley. Thanks again to Jane and her team for the layout of this sleek report. You can read about our stakeholder convenings, our narrative power grantees, and all of the work we've been up to over the last year. Whew, that's a lot of reading. If you need any more recommendations, come to me. The Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation is featured all over the place.
We're always so grateful for our anonymous donor. Thanks to her, we've been able to continue doing emergency aid grants and dental grants. This year, she actually gave us some additional funding, and we decided to put that towards child care grants. We all know that is a huge issue in our area. It hits all of our priority areas with the grant making, and so I think that is something we're going to be able to continue. And that donor also has their own donor advised fund, and program staff was able to advise them on some food insecurity grants. And that came at such a critical time, as we all know, with the SNAP crisis. It's just been a hard year for our grantees with all the changes with funding. And we just appreciate that anonymous donor helping support them through this. Something else that the foundation has going on is this is our 3rd year doing the wellness initiative. And so I am on that wellness committee. Some things we've done with that is wellness bingo. Highly encourage the board to get involved if they would like to for our next year. We had 100% participation with that. And then we were also able to bring in a nutritionist to talk to staff. So thanks.
Hello, everyone. Grants Manager Candace Krell here. This year, in addition to processing hundreds of grants and supporting scholarships, I led the transition of our grants and scholarship programs into our new software. And I'm currently working with Foundant in order to migrate our data from the old system into the new system. This system transition has allowed us to take a closer look at the way we work. And because my role spans departments, I have a unique vantage point to be able to map where our work intersects, to modernize our workflows, and to eliminate those cross-department silos. I also led weekly software spotlight sessions where staff could come together, bring ideas and questions as we transitioned into this new system. And we use that perspective and what we're learning to map our processes, write clearer internal procedures, and to build more dynamic grants and scholarship applications that improve the user experience for everybody. And building on the principles that we embedded in the redesign of our grants application back in 2022, we embedded walkthrough resources directly into our applications. So assistance is now available to students anytime they're completing the application, even outside of normal business hours. And what that means is that because applicants now spend less time feeling stuck or confused, staff is now spending less time troubleshooting, which just is a big win for organizational efficiency all the way around. And this user-centered framework and embedding those resources directly into the application is actually what led TGKVF to being invited to present at both the annual National Conference for Growing Community Foundations and the National Scholarship Providers Association Conference, which was very exciting. And we're just thrilled to see TGKVF have the opportunity to step up as a leader in those spaces. Moving forward, we're just excited to keep learning, keep growing, settling into this new software, and building on this momentum and taking it into the next year.
Hi, Todd Dorcas, Community Economic Development Program Officer with the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation. In 2025, we held 3 listening tours on the west side to report and to listen about the projects that we did with our West Side Special Initiative. And that special initiative occurred between 2014 and 2024. It was really good. It was really nice to get out in the community and hear their thoughts on how we did with our investments. Another project that we did in 2025 was the CMI2, which is the Civil Military Innovations Institute. And that's working with students in Clay County, K through 12, on preparing them for economic opportunities and what the future may hold. Another project was the City of Madison's Outdoor Recreation Trail Plan. And those trail plans, the trail plan itself was designed to link projects in Madison and Boone County to one another to propel economic development. And the 4th project, and it's something that's coming up in 2026. This is pretty exciting. We have planned the Building Bridges Leadership Institute version 3.0, and that's to increase capacity with our grantees. So if you're interested in learning more, hit me up. Thank you.
As part of the Foundation's narrative work, we launched a grant opportunity for organizations working in the narrative space, specifically for projects around having young West Virginians talk about things that are important to them. So earlier this year, we received 17 great proposals for funding, and we reviewed all of those, and we're hoping to make grants totaling $107,000 to support 7 of those projects later this year. Also part of the Foundation's narrative work was hosting a large gathering earlier in November. About 150 people attended this, either in person here in Charleston or online, to hear about the important things happening in the narrative space in West Virginia, learn about what's coming next down the road, and to hear from local leaders from places like Mountain State Spotlight and Black by God, but also from national leaders from places like Tiny News Collective and the New York Times.
Hi, I'm Emily McCormick, Program Associate here at the Foundation. This year, our team supported hundreds of grant applicants and more than 1,000 students using our new software. To empower applicants, we created dozens of resource pages and embedded them directly in our application, giving students and grant partners the help they needed anytime, even outside of office hours. Our strengths-based, user-centered application design was the focus of 2 national conference presentations and was reflected in the overwhelming positive feedback we received from the grant partners and students alike. As we look ahead, we're continuing to refine our evaluation tools and rubrics with first-time applicants in mind, ensuring reviewers centered their scores on applicant strengths and potential impact.
Hello, my name is Johanna Meissner, and I am the Donor Relations Officer here at the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation. 2025 was a great year for our fund holders and donors. We are really glad that you guys joined us for another great year of philanthropy. This year in November, we again hosted our annual Donor Day, where our investment advisors from Prime Buckholz came down and told us about all the great returns on your investment and the great work your money is doing. We also hosted our first ever donor and grantee roundtable. We brought in some of our grantees dealing with some of the most pressing needs in our community and created a wonderful luncheon space for our donors to learn more about their work. We hope to have more of those luncheons in the future and identify additional emerging needs. Finally, this year was an exciting year because we undertook the beginning of a communications strategic realignment. So in the upcoming months, you'll see some changes to your donor communications and more exciting ways to learn about the important work and impact here at the Foundation. As always, if you need anything, feel free to give me a call here at the Foundation. Thank you.
2025 was a busy year, but let us remember as we enter this season of giving that it is a gift from the donors the time from the volunteers, and the knowledge of the staff that let us move forward to create communities that thrive.